Hello guys. This 4th of July my daughter, her boyfriend, and my grandkids came over to visit, and we popped some firecrackers and had a good time. After they left to put the kids to bed, I decided to take the telescope out and do some imaging. The night ended up being mostly clear with just a few little clouds, but I did have to put up with the smoke from the fireworks. Even with that, it was still a good night to image Jupiter. The red spot was visible, and it ended up having a solar eclipse. The moon Io ended up passing between Jupiter and the Sun and casting its shadow on Jupiter's surface. I was able to capture several videos and stack them into images. Then I was able to take those images and make an animation which clearly shows the moon's shadow transiting across Jupiter's surface. As a bonus, you can see the red spot rotating out of view. Since it was the 4th of July, there were fireworks going off all around, which means there were clouds of smoke drifting around, and you can notice that in the imagery every now and then there's a frame or two that is not quite as clear and detailed as the others. Now that I had this data for Jupiter, I decided to do a little testing. I normally stack my images in Registax and use the wavelets, but I notice most people use Autostakkert and then use Registax for the wavelets. I wanted to see what the differences would be. So I ended up stacking all of my images in Autostakkert also, and I made an animation with the Autostakkert images to compare with. Right away you could tell that the Autostakkert images have more color and contrast than the Registax images do. That extra color and contrast just makes the images look like they pop a little bit more. Now, I haven't used Autostakkert enough to know that I'm comparing apples to apples here, so I will definitely have to work with it more and do some more experimenting with the different settings. With that being said, if you compare two of the same images, one processed with Autostakkert, the other one with Registax, you can clearly see that the one with Registax has more detail and is a little clearer in the cloud bands, especially the one where that's directly in line with the red spot. You could actually see a lot of detail in the eddies. Just a few days before this, I had a clear night and was able to get some fairly decent images of Saturn. I ended up collecting 180 seconds of data and stacking it, and I ended up getting some pretty clear images. And if I started looking really close at it, I could see a lot of detail in the rings where you could see the individual ringlets. You could also see the individual cloud bands and the banding throughout the entire planet. You could see some of the shadow on the rings from the planet, and if you look real close and kind of squint a little bit, you might be able to make out the little hexagon on the polar vortex at the pole on the planet. Then again, that might be a little wishful thinking on my part, but it does look like you can see some straight edges and corners on that top band. And finally, in honor of the Apollo 11 anniversary, here's a couple of pictures I took of the moon, but not the real moon. This is a display in the Houston Natural History Museum. quite impressive. It's 23 feet in diameter, and you can view it from every direction. It is well worth the visit if you are ever in the area. For those of you who are interested, I started posting some of my images on my Instagram account, which is @rhunterred, and thanks for watching.